What if your neighborhood collectively grew its own food, was completely off the grid, and your neighbors felt like family? I spent several weeks exploring some of Australia's most innovative ecovillages, from rainforest valleys in Queensland to urban co-housing just outside of Perth. Each village had its own personality. Some were fully off-grid, others were city-adjacent, and some had thriving communities while others, not so much. As a sustainable living consultant, I wanted to see how these places actually work and whether I could see myself living in one. Stick around to find out which villages surprised me the most and the biggest lessons I learned about building community. What if living lightly on Earth wasn't just a dream, but a daily reality? In Queensland's Sunshine Coast hinterland, Belbunya Ecovillage invites us to try. Just 25 minutes from Noosa, Belbunya is an intentional community established in 2008 to explore sustainable localized living. Managed by a not-for-profit, this 40-acre property blends organic food gardens, wildlife corridors, and renewable energy systems with a spirit of grassroots cooperation. Belbunya's foundation rests on 4 bottom lines: personal growth, social sustainability, economic viability, and environmental care. Their approach includes permaculture and syntropic farming, group decision-making, and hosting workshops on everything from natural building and holistic health to alternative economics and conflict resolution. The community center runs on 100% renewable energy, while water is captured from rain tanks and a lagoon. During my visit, I stayed alongside about 10 residents and a similar number of volunteers exchanging work for a place to stay. The main house, a former B&B, now serves as a communal space with a big kitchen, shared library, and a rustic accommodation. I stayed in one of the old guest rooms, basic but bright, with clean facilities and great natural light. I got a tour from one of the residents who showed me the gardens, the composting facilities, and the worm farm. There's a genuine effort here to live in harmony with the land. Still, I noticed some cracks in the foundation. While the gardens thrive and volunteers show up with heart, many long-term residents weren't present at communal dinners. Decision-making often rests with absentee owners focused on other projects, which has left some of the community's potential untapped. Belbunya is a place with deep roots and room to grow. If you're curious about grassroots permaculture, community resilience, or simply want to live closer to nature, it's a worthwhile stop. What if community meant more than just your friends and family, but your neighbors too? Tucked just south of Perth, Pinakari Community invites us to experience intentional urban living, rooted in deep listening. Pinakari is an award-winning co-housing community just 15 minutes from the beach and wetlands. Named with permission from a local Aboriginal tribe, Pinakari means ears standing up, listening deeply. And that's exactly how this place operates. Around 20 residents live in 12 sustainably designed homes, sharing space, resources, and responsibilities. Here, sustainability isn't just solar panels and rain tanks. It's how people communicate. Their values? Deep respect, diversity, nonviolent dialogue, and economic inclusion. Most homes are rental-based and income-inclusive, making this rare urban eco-village accessible to folks from different walks of life. I visited during their monthly potluck, a shared dinner under a giant tree by a glowing outdoor fireplace. A longtime resident gave me the tour, and what struck me most wasn't the eco-design. It was how normal the homes felt. Comfortable, modern, accessible. Unlike the rustic cabins I've seen in rural villages, these homes had flushing toilets, good lighting, even a standard kitchen, and yet there was magic in the air, like a secret garden full of community care. Pinakari shows us that eco-living doesn't have to mean isolation or wealth. In fact, this little village proves that community sustainability and city life can coexist. All it takes is a willingness to listen. Time and time again, people kept telling me, if you're exploring ecovillages in Australia, you need to go to Crystal Waters. It's the one that started it all. Founded in 1987, Crystal Waters is considered the world's first intentional permaculture village. Tucked into 640 acres of protected bushlands, it's home to over 250 residents across 83 one-acre lots. Designed using permaculture principles, The village blends private homes, common land, and co-op run spaces like the Village Green and Eco Park. Crystal Waters isn't just about preserving land. It's about living in harmony with the wildlife. The village is a registered wildlife sanctuary, and there are no cats or dogs. This protects native species. The core values here are low-impact living, mutual respect, and shared governance, split between a body corporate and a community co-op. When I arrived, I felt like I'd stepped into a time capsule. Many of the buildings were built in the 80s, and some of that charm remains untouched. One resident took me on a ride through the village, explaining how the community grew, how they self-govern, and how the population is now mostly older adults. It was beautiful, but also bittersweet. Many of the original families have seen their kids grow up and move away. Without more young families staying or new ones moving in, the community's age balance feels like a growing challenge. That said, Crystal Waters is more than a village. It's a legacy, a place that planted seeds for sustainable living long before it was mainstream. And while its future may depend on new generations stepping in, its story is one worth honoring. Imagine waking up to the sound of kookaburras, sipping coffee while kangaroos bounce through your backyard, and being just 15 minutes from one of Australia's best beaches. Welcome to the Ecovillage at Currumbin, a place that completely redefined what sustainable living could look like. Okay, I have to say it. I think I found my sanctuary, you guys. Eesh. This 270-acre, multi-award-winning eco-village is nestled in the Gold Coast hinterland. With over 140 homes and 450 residents, Currumbin is often described as a suburban eco-utopia. It's been praised internationally for its environmental design, and its motto is clear: where people and nature flourish in beauty, harmony, and integrity. What sets Currumbin apart is its practical sustainability. We're talking next-level waste sorting down to electronics, clothing, and textiles. A tool library gives every resident access to equipment for home projects, and solar energy powers many of the homes, while wildlife is protected through a no dog and cat policy that makes room for kangaroos, wallabies, and echidnas to thrive. When I arrived, it felt like entering an eco-conscious suburb, polished but warm. I toured with a local agent who showed me not just homes, but a thriving community, where there's cafes, a spa, beautiful school, of course a community garden, and even co-working spaces. The eco home I visited was a dream, sustainably built and nearby a stream, with access to community facilities like a pool, a gym, pizza ovens, and a yoga shala. Empowering affirmations. I am loved and safe. Today I choose to be happy. I am brave. I am strong. All my emotions are valid. I am kind and unique. Love it. But beneath the surface, residents shared mixed reflections. While some loved their lifestyles, others voiced concerns about a shift away from the original sustainable ethos. As the community grew, commercial interests and less enforced building guidelines diluted some of the founding values. That said, Currumbin Ecovillage showed me that beautiful design and sustainability can coexist, but also reminded me how essential it is to protect a community's original vision. Leadership matters, intentionality matters, and if you're not evolving with your values, you risk losing what made it special in the first place. After weeks of wandering through some of Australia's most beautiful landscapes, I not only soaked up the sun, I soaked in stories and wisdom from the residents of these villages that will stay with me for years to come. At Pinakari, I experienced the importance of nonviolent communication and shared governance, and that sustainability isn't just about environmental stewardship, it's about social stewardship. At Belbunya, I saw the power and fragility of grassroots communities. When leadership is distant, potential can fade. But when volunteers show up with heart and ambition, potential can be revived. Crystal Waters showed me that time and growth aren't always aligned, and that for a community to truly flourish, it must invest in building for future generations. At Currumbin, I witnessed balance, a modern suburban-style eco-village that invites both residents and outsiders to gather, learn, and share. I was reminded that good design can foster both connection and resilience if the original vision stays alive. No two communities were the same, Some were wild and rustic, others were cozy and modern. Some felt like tight-knit families, and others like empty shells waiting to be filled again. But in every village, I saw something that we all need: community, to belong, and to build a place where we can live sustainably. So here's my invitation to you. Next time you travel or are looking for something to do in your own hometown, look for either an eco-village, maybe a permaculture or regenerative farm, a community garden, or a community center. Pay a visit, walk around, ask questions, and listen deeply. You might just find a little piece of life you've been missing, a sense of community. Thanks for coming on this journey with me, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insights into sustainable living. And if you have any questions or want to learn more, visit my website at second.naturesolutions.org or follow me on Insta, TikTok, or Facebook. Thanks.